Hi, this is Dr. Kaylee Dubois live in San Francisco. And tonight on Sex, we have some incredible guests, including my friend Jay Blumenfield. And we also have a consumer who's going to represent you, the audience at large, and AJ, who is the founder of AI Pornography, a pornography company, has assisted in the foundation and the early stage development of AI pornography. Now, this is a show for you, the consumer. I'm going to give you guys tips and tricks on how to avoid being scammed tonight. And we're all being scammed with deep fakes, AI scams, forced continuity cons, live stream deceptions, and the rise of the robots. This is the future of pornography. And I'm going to give you guys an idea of what's happening on social media sites like fetlife.com because I've done really thorough research to tell you what's real and what's not real, where to spend your hard earned money, and to prevent yourself from being blood dry. And I'm talking about not by hot babes, but guys sitting behind their computer screens in places like Nigeria. So I welcome guests. Let me kind of give you a little bit of a background on the people here tonight. They're here to guide you. They're going to represent you and give you an idea of where pornography is leading and what you should do if you are a consumer of it. So anyways, I'm going to start with Jay Blumenfield, and then we're going to move into a dialogue just to give you guys an understanding and organization of the show. So this is unfiltered, raw advice into the future of porn. And it's going to also help content creators hopefully get an understanding if they should be in the field altogether, making homemade videos, amateur videos that their face will eventually be absorbed by AI and used without their permission, even if you have a watermark. So, this is really important to watch if you're a consumer or if you are a content creator, because it's going to help guide your decision from now into the future. I guarantee it. So, keep watching. It might be the best video you've watched all year. So, anyways, this is about the rise of the machines. And I'm going to start with just my friend Jay here. We're going to go into his work and what his beliefs are about the future of porn. So, hey Jay, thanks for coming on
Hey,
the show. I appreciate it.
that was a cool intro.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
So, where do you think the future of porn is going?
I mean, my world is more mainstream. I do a lot of sort of sexy stuff, but for mainstream television.
Mhm.
So I think, look, I think we all know the old school porn of yesteryear is dead. Um, I think with AI, there's going to rise a completely new industry that will be personalized beyond belief. And that, I mean, right now you can program a character and you can talk to that character, you can give her him personality traits and physical attributes. And there are plenty of places like Nomi and others
Mhm.
that for a couple bucks a month you can create your friend, your
Mhm.
girlfriend or boyfriend, talk to them every day, have them send you selfies and pictures. And that this is day one of this stuff. So take that and extrapolate out a few years. And I think all of content is going to be very personalized, and you'll get what you deeply want.
So let's go back in time to your shows like Gigolos, and you have worked on another adult educational show. Do you think those shows, can we compare them? Is there any way to compare them to what you think is going to happen in the future?
Sure. Look, I think I did Gigolos for 6 seasons, and that was a reality show about male escorts in Vegas, but it was a comedy. And before that, we did Family Business. That was a comedy reality show about Adam Glasser, who is otherwise known as Seymour Butts,
Mhm.
and it was about his family business. He was raising his little kid. His mom was his accountant, and she just wanted to find him love. And he was looking for love, and he had a crazy cousin. Like, it's a sitcom premise, but set in the world of adult entertainment. I think both of those shows and some other stuff we've done in that world, we're pushing the envelope of what you can do in mainstream with sexuality and sex type shows. And we were trying to be very sex positive and try to show people, hey, there's nothing to be afraid of. I think we were wrong that there is something to be afraid of, because we got so much shit for all of that, that in retrospect, I don't think America can deal with mainstream sex content still. I think it's actually gotten worse. Nobody's making shows like the shows we made. We could not sell those today. And so I think when it comes to mainstream, that's going the opposite way. But I think when you're talking about pornography, it's almost like anything goes. And with AI, anything you can dream up can happen. And there's something kind of cool about that.
Yeah. So let's go into what it was like to do gigolos and being on the set of gigolos and working with these people in real time and like the intricacies. Can you just give us like a push back the veil as though we're there on set with you? What was it like in a day of filming these male escorts? What was it like?
Sure, it was a very strange few years, where, I mean, these guys were real escorts. We took who they really were and sort of enhanced it for television. So one of them was kind of into Eastern philosophy, and we made him like the Zen guy, and he loved giving massages. That was all real. And then another one was sort of like the dumb but funny guy, and so we enhanced that. But I think what you're talking about is we shot actual sex stuff and we put it on mainstream television. Now, we didn't show penetration. We didn't show the note session from the network, from Showtime, where I still have some of those old notes hung up in my office, because it was like, you can show 3 thrusts, but not 4. Or I see a hard penis in the background. Make sure there's no hard penis. You could show limp penis, but no hard penis. So there were a lot of weird things to try to push the envelope. What was weird was, and we never said anyone had to have sex. It was like they would have the date and we're like, look, if you want to have sex, you guys are consulting adults, consenting adults, go for it. We'll film around the actual stuff, but we'll film it. And if you don't, just simulate it and we'll get what we need. So 85% of the time they actually had sex, and we were all stuck in, it was usually in hotel rooms in Vegas. So it was me and a director and a DP and a couple other producers, all in a bathroom of a Vegas hotel room looking at a monitor, while literally 5 feet away, 2 people were fucking. That was a strange experience. Now, for people who make porn, maybe it's not that strange, but for all of us that came from mainstream television, that was weird. And it was also weird to have to then go and say, oh shit, we're running out of time. They gotta crescendo this. And I'd have to walk out of the bathroom and go, hey guys, that was great. You guys look like you're having a good time, but it's time for an orgasm. Now, we didn't need a money shot. We couldn't show the actual cum shot, but we needed a crescendo of something. And if it wasn't going to be an orgasm, then we needed that to be part of the story.
Beautiful. So now you had mentioned that they're moving away, like networks are moving away from like adult content, adult narratives. And is there like a social, is there like a cultural phenomena that's happening that's creating that? Was it the Weinstein generation? Like, what was it?
I think, look, even when we were making these shows, and by the way, these shows were doing really well. We got ratings, and we were either right before or right after Homeland, which was like a big scripted show, cost millions of dollars. And we would sometimes beat them in the ratings. But there was the problem of what I call the cocktail party problem, which is, even though we were making the network money, even though we had many eyeballs watching us and everyone was talking about our show, when the executives would go to a bullshit cocktail party in the Hollywood Hills, it wasn't something they wanted to talk about. They were embarrassed about it. We were the redheaded stepchild. And so we found that on all those types of shows. Even though they did really well, nobody wanted to claim them. It was sort of embarrassing. They weren't proud of them. And I think that's a cultural thing. That's a society thing. I think since those times, the television industry has gotten very sort of broadcasty. So Netflix wants to please everybody all the time. If they get yelled at for having too sexual a show, then it's not worth it for them. They have so much stuff. They don't want any controversy. So these big streamers now don't the reputational damage that they would get if they get complaints or there's a controversy is not worth it because they have so much else. So I feel like yes, there's stuff like if you really search on Netflix, you can find some sort of R-rated NC-17 kind of stuff. In fact, there's a show called 365 on Netflix that is a phenomena. It's sort of a 50 Shades kind of show, pretty low budget. It's done gangbusters, but you'll never see it on the front page. They'll never advertise it. They'll never talk about it. When we were doing Gigolos after like the third or fourth season, the guys would be like, "All right, we know we're doing well. Where's our billboard on Sunset Boulevard? Where is it? Like talk to the network. Like we're big stars." And I'd have to say, guys, like you're never getting a billboard. They're not going to shout from the mountaintops about your show because it's embarrassing to them. And that was a big bummer.
So where do you think like the culture of sexuality is right now in Hollywood and through the narratives that they're pushing? Where do you think that's going?
I mean, it's really hard to tell because I think the government and the culture is about to change pretty radically over the next few months because of the election. But even leading up to that, I think, I don't know if it's that Gen Z is a little, in a weird way, Gen Z likes to talk about sex, but I don't know if they like to have it. So it's hard to tell. It's a little more sterile than it was a few years ago. Now these things shift and they pendulum back and forth. So who knows? Maybe a more conservative government makes everybody want to do what they're not allowed to do more. I don't know.
Beautiful. So let's move into talking to AJ about the current trends in pornography and what he's been seeing. Hey, AJ, can you hear me?
Yeah, first of all, I want to answer Mr. Blumenthal's thing. The government has very little to do with what they have with AI, mainly because the AI that will be used for adult stuff is uncensored and it's primarily made by people from North Africa. It's not made here in the States. They'll take like say Llama 3 or Wizard LM, and they will uncensor it. So whatever type of censoring you think is going to happen with AI, it's not happening. It has no chance of happening because they don't want an AI that's censored, because when you censor the AI, it becomes dumber. That's a fact. So people are going to do what they're going to do, and there's no guardrails on AI. You can forget that even the thought of that happening.
Well, I think there's no guardrails on AI, but there are guardrails on what apps can be sold in the app store or what things get banned off platforms, etc. So there's still stuff to try to navigate.
The
But I
the
agree with you.
platforms don't matter anymore, because the platforms, you can buy the download and run it right off your basic computer.
Yeah, I think we're sort of talking about two different
Yeah, we're
things.
talking about two different things right now. So so let's talk about real quick uh the cultural influence of AJ. I'm going to ask you this question: the cultural influence of AI use in pornography, and why do
Mhm.
you think it's so prevalent with um, current um, pushing of it? Like, for example, I just read, I'm not going to name the name of the porn star, but she's very famous. I've known her for most of my adult life. She's been doing pornography. I shared her name with you, but I'm not going to post it on air. She's did not watermark her content. She is now a deep fake, and she is suing an AI company associated with the pornography that's been leaked. So why is all this stuff happening? You know, besides the advent of AI, but why now?
Well, because it's become easy now. Become very, very, very simple right now. If I don't have to deal with people, and I can just basically hire a team of tech programmers that are going to do whatever and set up a system that I'm going to do whatever I want them to do, and I can make that happen. Why would I hire people? And it looks the same, and I can make the same amount of money, if not more, because the cost
Yeah,
goes down.
and this is something I want to talk to Jay about real quick. Jay, when I was filming, I film a lot of adult content. Like I'm a producer of adult content. I'm not in it.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing that I have is actually procuring actresses. Like they're just so flaky. They just
Mhm.
like I will pay them to be on time, and
Yeah.
I mean like it's just. Do you have the same issue? Like, did you ever have issues with like flakes and stuff like that? I can see why they're doing AI instead of girls.
Yeah, I look on those sexual shows. There's the flaky factor goes up. The more the closer to X those shows would get, the flaky factor sort of correlates. And I don't know if that's just the world or whatever, or it's because it's kind of underground. It's not like, oh, well, if I don't show up, I'm not going to be able to be a movie star. It's more of just a paid gig and nobody gives a fuck. I don't know. But I do think whether it's mainstream or more adult, that the idea of interacting with the characters that you fall in love with from media is going to be huge. Like there are companies that are making shows, and so picture your favorite show, and the you're like it takes something simple, Mission Impossible. Okay, if imagine if you could communicate with the Tom Cruise character. Now, does he take off his clothes and does it get pornographic? Probably not. But I'm saying think of like a TV show where there's a sexy actress, and with her consent, they develop her personality, and there's an avatar that you can interact with, and maybe it doesn't get to pornographic, but you can flirt with her. Imagine flirting with your favorite star. Like that's happening now on various platforms. So you can extrapolate that to pure porn, or you can extrapolate that to your favorite TV series. Like imagine if when The Office was huge, you could just talk to Michael, or talk to Dwight, and he would. It's not that hard to program Dwight, and then the avatar would look like Dwight, and you could just have him hanging out with you like that. That to me is a killer app for all of this stuff, and it folds into porn, but it also folds into the mainstream.
Right, right. And that's where it goes to, do you want a live body, like a real human, being able to have a personal, spiritual connection with you, or do you want an actual bot, reading off lines and going through the motions of what a programmer did in Nigeria? So for me, so this is something that I've been seeing a lot. And on FetLife.com and other adult social media is that there's so many fake accounts. And I do events in person, and I have personal relationships with my students. I have traveled the world speaking. I have been in and out of dungeons in Berlin, Munich, Paris throughout my lifetime working, and I have developed really great friendships with people over the years. That's something bots can't give you. Now, what I've noticed on FetLife, since I do a lot of events, we sometimes have up to 100 people come to my events. That we do all different kinds of events on sexuality, hypnosis, NLP, psychology, trance, and psilocybin. And what I've noticed, sorry, I have someone texting me. What I've noticed is that there's all these fake accounts pretending to join the event. And I look at the content, and it's all girls, just fake accounts of these girls. And I'm going, you guys don't live in San Francisco. Their profiles say places like, Des Moines, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, New York City, and they want to go to a personalized kink event in San Francisco. I don't think so. Right? So basically, what they're doing is they're fishing to see who's a real person. In order to, go to these events, you basically are a real person looking at local events, right? Like you're going to go, you're going to spend some money, you're going to meet some people. So they add their profile so they can start connecting with, hypothetical people who'll buy into their forced continuity programs or subscription-based programs on OnlyFans or these, monthly forced continuity paywalls, and not even be a real person. It's like thousands and thousands and thousands of fake accounts out there of all these girls. And this is the issue. This is my personal belief. The real issue with what's happening is it's almost taking away that personal one-on-one, having a real-time relationship with a living, breathing, fucking human being and not your fucking phone. You're not going to get better at fucking communication. You're not going to get better at fucking. Sorry, fucking your phone. The only way you get better at fucking is having sex with multiple people and having the confidence within yourself to approach those people and have rapport and learn those skills of rapport and pacing and communication so you can take them to the next level. This is something, we can have a bot teach us. We can go onto chat. We can have chat teach us all of the relationship, dynamics out there, pickup, whatever, seduction. But yet we have to apply it. You don't get the skills unless you do the drills. That means you actually have to go forth into battle, and win. There's no loser's limp. The issue with AI, the issue with technology and sexuality is that it creates a loser's limp. Why go out with girls when I can just stay at home with my AI girlfriend? She's not going to berate me. This is the issue that I see. The issue is I'm going to see a bunch of people become simps, losers, live at their parents' house until they're 40 instead of going out and fucking girls. That's what I see. Now, AJ, what do you think is the real issue? Now, come on, you create AI pornography. Well, you've invested, you talk to investors. You're the guy that gets them the money. Now, I know that what specifically about AI pornography is insidious to you? And you probably don't even believe that it's insidious. You think it's probably a great thing.
I don't think it's a great thing, but I don't think it's insidious either. I think it's a thing. And basically, when you have a custom, we know that the Gen Z customers would rather talk to an AI than a real girl. So basically, we're adapting, and whatever the market will bear, the market will bear. So I know that if I create an AI app that will chat with them, and most of these people are on most of the apps you think about are a lot of these people think they're real OnlyFans girls. They're not. They're my AI app. I'm doing it for them.
So basically, let me just say, behind these paywalls, they have the ability to chat with the girl, right?
Yeah, but they're not talking to a real girl.
Who are they talking to? Who are these guys talking to?
They're either talking to some Nigerian or some Indian, or they're talking to one of an AI app that I developed or one of my competitors have developed. That's how because they're always on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they respond real quick.
How much money are they making off these guys? How much do these AI?
An AI will have, let's say the average OnlyFans person makes anywhere from $300 to $1,000 with my AI app, and I can basically create an amalgamation of a girl that they've never seen, but it's like a bunch of Playboy Playmates put together, and we now created that. They'll have like 20 or 30 accounts, so let's just figure that everyone has let's just say everyone makes about $1,000 a month. They're making at least $30,000 a month per app. We're not even having to integrate with a customer. The AI does it for them.
But AJ, I'm trying to understand, because that sounds kind of cool, because there's one way to look at it where everybody wins, because the girl's making more money. Good for her. The guys are happy because they get to talk to somebody, and more of them get to talk to that person. Maybe they even learn how to talk to real girls in the real world by practicing on the AI. There's a world where you could say that that's a net positive.
It is a net. It can be considered a net positive that girl can basically go on and live her life. But on the other hand, a lot of my customers don't want to deal with that girl, so we create a new girl that doesn't exist before, and buy an old Twitter account, old Facebook accounts, old and I can buy them for like $3 or $4 a piece. And then all of a sudden, that girl is like the next big thing. I just push someone else. You can only look at boobs. Boobs basically look the same, and ass basically looks the same because they all go to the same plastic surgeon.
So are you saying you're having AI invent a brand new person, or you're taking an
Yep.
actual human being and using her pictures to create the AI?
Both.
Got it. Because one feels less exploitive than the other, just from an outsider's perspective.
Right. We're doing both. We're doing both. And to be honest with you, they're the ones that are AI powered. They're collecting more money than even the Indians and stuff like that. They know psychology. They know how to extract. They're programmed to extract. We take the top 1%. We take the top 1% of OnlyFans and Loyal Fans producers. We send them text, so we have sample text, so we can send, so it looks similar to what they would say. And so we know exactly what they're going to say. It's always the same stuff. See a new picture of it. It sends the picture, creates a new picture automatically. They don't have to do anything. Then go and live their life.
Sounds like a good business.
It does sound like a great business, AJ. But
Right.
but my belief is that the dependence on this, because if they're going to read the psychological patterns of the individual, for example, how often they're using the app, when the person's horny, they're tracking this data, right? So if the guy gets horny at 10 p.m., after a long day at work, they're going to know he's horny at 10 p.m. So are they going to start extracting money like around 9:50, sending him SMSs saying, "Hey, I'm online. Don't you want to chat with me?" And the next thing you know, you become so psychologically dependent on this bot that's emotionally reading you, knows exactly when you're horny, and you can't even afford to go out and take a girl off Tinder or Bumble, two shitty websites, apps, excuse me, because all of your money has been extracted by these mind readers, quote unquote, these bots, right? Like, wouldn't you say that's
it's
the
more
insidious
it's more
nature?
than that. You think we first start with the hours that they're not working, and then we infiltrate the hours that they are working. And so pay attention to me. I'm your virtual girlfriend. I've
Yeah,
become a
I would imagine that
it becomes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We allow these people 3 hours of sleep.
I'd like to take back my previous comment of win-win. Now that you've said that, because that sounds a little evil.
yeah.
Still like a great business, but that seems like you're praying. I mean, not you, but that concept.
Well, that's
is-
what happens is
yeah.
because every time someone sees porn, it's a dopamine hit,
Yep.
but it's an unsatisfied dopamine hit because they don't have the intimacy and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
they don't
So
have the follow up with oxytocin, which is released upon orgasm when there's a human present.
Well,
So, and
what I've
vasopressin.
what I basically done is I've turned porn but made it better because porn does the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. So would you say there's going to be an entirely new generation of kids
Yeah.
turning 18? We're going to talk about the 18-year-olds because we legally have to do that. But the new kids that are coming in that have the ability to purchase pornography are going to be so conditioned psychologically and physiologically by masturbating and connecting to something that's reading them emotionally, that knows their spending habits, that knows when they masturbate, that knows when they're awake, knows
Yeah.
every movement.
We're basically by the time they're 18, they're already sex addicts.
So this is like but no one's having sex. This is the crazy thing.
Right.
This is the problem with this generation, is that there's like people, like, for example, this party I went to, Two Thumbs Dumb, real fucking stupid. I can't believe I went to it. But all of them were just on their phones. But yet on FetLife and on Eventbrite, there was like thousands of people who had purchased tickets. Nearly a tenth of these people actually showed up. No one wanted to have sex. Everyone was afraid of one another. They weren't making eye contact. That was not how sex parties were back in the day. Okay? And I'm talking, we had real fucking wild times here in San Francisco. And
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I think these people rather just sit on, it was all content creators. They were just taking pictures. Remember? You were there.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Talk about what you saw.
Well, we were the only ones. We tried to get things started with some interaction, but no, there was only maybe one other couple that followed up, and they were in a scene. But everyone else was just sitting around watching each other and having a little fat chat or having a little dance together on a dance floor. It was like you might as well just gone to a nightclub and paid a tenth of the price.
Yeah, yeah. So what else did you see there? Like, was it just content creators? I mean, we were together, but what was your
Yeah.
perspective as a consumer of this event?
Pretty boring.
And this is San Francisco. San Francisco's known for its kink scene. Pride, the Folsom Street Fair. Okay. And then they throw this party, and I'm just like, I was supposed to present. I got paid to present. She doesn't even show up. I was there at we were there at 9:30.
9:30, yeah.
9:30. She shows up at the organizer herself shows up at 12:30, and I was like, I was supposed to present at 10:30. I'm not fucking presenting. We're fucking done. I wired her back her money, said fuck you, and I was just like, we're looking around, and we're the only ones putting on the fucking show. We're the only fucking kinksters, like half fucking naked,
they sent me
doing
an-
crazy shit.
They sent me a message on FetLife today asking me to review the thing.
And you're like, two thumbs dumb.
I'm not going to respond.
Fuck. Like I came there to get wet, not fucking stare at a screen. I mean, I was sitting there, and I've been in the industry 20 years. People know who I fucking am. I was doing a young girl a favor who's a nobody. Okay. I do this a lot. I do young ones favors. And so I went to her event, and I'm sitting in the chair, and I was telling my amigo here about this the other day, and she's like, "Excuse me, do you mind moving from the chair so I can take a photo with the X behind me?" And I'm like, "Do you know how to use that? Do you know how to use this kinky BDSM device? You actually have to have someone up in the straps and their ass like totally annihilated in order for it to look real. You can't just look cute in, your shit show lingerie in front of an ex. You actually have to do some damage to someone to make it look real." And I got up and left after saying that to her. I was just like, what happened to the fucking scene? It's eroded. And this is the scene. This is where people go to fuck. They come to San Francisco because the loose laws. I mean, they're too busy dealing with the fentanyl fucking zombies out on the street than to arrest some people having some fun times in a warehouse. You know what I mean? But yet, we can't even get our pussy wet at a fucking sex party. Advertised as a sex party with an orgy room. Was there an orgy?
Fuck no.
Fuck no. Right? Fuck no. Anyways, AJ, so what I'm getting at is that it's all over. This like censorship and this push. I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I sound like a nut. But to push everyone online to take their sex life, their love life, and push it all online. From how
Well,
go ahead.
you're pretty accurate with that, but also you have to understand that you have to, with the advent of these chat bots, and it started with the webcam girls. Honestly, the whole idea. I mean, even Cobra Tate, you like him or hate him, he took his girlfriends that he basically marketed them to be cam girls, and then he would first start trying to get them to type. They type, and they were writing unsexy stuff. So basically, what he did is he pulled the cord out of the computer, and then him and his brother were typing. So he was saying what they were saying. So basically, what's happening now is we have, with the advent of AI and people like the Tate brothers and countless other people that are managing cam girls, have taken over, and now we're at a point where the newest generation would rather talk to something fake, and it's something fake, than an actual person. This is why and COVID didn't help either. COVID made everyone locked up and all that stuff. So no one knows how to talk to people anymore. So
Well-
basically, their AI becomes their best friend. They'd rather talk to machine.
I mean, if you ask me, I'd rather talk to a well put together AI than Andrew Tate. So I mean, if you know,
He's well put together.
I'm just saying that we now do what Andrew Tate's job originally was, is to chat with the guys and pretend he was a girl. Now I have an AI that will do it better.
yeah,
It's still it's better. It takes all the other sexy chats online, pulls it all into a database, and then basically comes out with things to say, and then it learns that person's fetishes, and freaking pushes them farther and farther down the rabbit hole if they want to or not. That's what it does. So they spend more money because it's never enough.
Yeah, because what I see, and I'm going to say this because having been in the industry as long as I have and writing so much book and being a prolific marketer on sexuality, is that when I scroll through these profiles on OnlyFans, it's almost regurgitated information as if it's the same person but a different name. Someone's writing their bio, everything exactly alike. And here's the interesting thing, like when I read it, well, even at like, okay, I scroll through escort ads. I'm kind of a pervert. I scroll through everything. You already know this, AJ, because I consult you. And it's almost like none of it's sexy. None of it turns me on, right? Like the reason I was able to keep a career in sex and live a nice lifestyle was that I knew how to get into the male mind and give him those POV, that point of view, you know, hardcore sexual stuff, because that soft stuff or just the basic, I'm a 36cc, whatever, no one gives a fuck about your goddamn dimensions. And when I know if you suck dick good, right? So how do you suck dick good? Right? So the issue that we're seeing is that a lot of these content creators don't know how men want sex. They just take pictures of their fucking puckered starfish, and we've all seen a puckered starfish, but it's about getting inside of the mind through one, the written word, the psychological component of connecting with them, right? And then also the visual image. You got to have all three. You can't just be cute. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. I've seen it. This is why, like, the market isn't prolific. You can't make a living in this market unless you're fucking really good. I mean, you got to be good at all those three elements. You know?
Well, it's more than that. The if you look at even the plastic surgery and then all that sort of stuff, all that, like the huge eyelashes, guys don't like that.
Well, as a
Guys
consumer,
Says who?
so the consumer, what do you think? What do you?
My question is who decided that AI is what men want? I mean, AJ, you mentioned that it was, you know, this is what men want, so this is the path we're going down. I don't know who. Do you know who decided that's what men
we-
want?
we decided on the newest generation. This is all Gen Z, which is not you.
That makes
Of course
Unfortunately.
not. No, but I've got children who are Gen Z.
So this is
Right.
really interesting. Sorry to interrupt, because I was just talking about this as far as a young generation market. Because if you think of, as a physiologist, I'm going to go into the biological science behind hormones for a moment. Guys are fucking horny at 18 to about 40. And then, you know, at 35, they might get a wife, get some kids, and then they start looking at their budget and they're like, fuck, I can't afford all this pornography, right? Like, I can't, like, I got to feed the kids. And then they get a little bit older, and then they can start affording it again because the kids are off, you know, at college and they got some discretionary income. So the real issue is the horny motherfuckers who have no lick of social skills that are coming in to age at 18. These are the guys that you guys are going after. That's your market, right?
Yeah, well, the OnlyFans market is the guys that are going to spend $15, $20, $30.
Or the cheap fuckers.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, the cheap fucker, and having a lot of those cheap fuckers. They're not looking. Most girls are looking for. Most girls, they're thinking, and I'll just. There was a girl that wanted me to market her OnlyFans account, and she's looking for rich people. And I says, that's not OnlyFans. OnlyFans is 15. It's thousands and thousands of guys are going to spend 15, 30, $50 with you in a given time, and then you con them into buying more. That's what it is. It's all those 15, 30, 50, anything under $100. OnlyFans only allows $300 to happen at a single time. So then if you want like big dollars, that's not the place to be on. Plus, OnlyFans takes half your money.
Well, AJ, I have an idea that could make everybody happy. You use the OnlyFans AI to get the guys 15 or 20 bucks, but then you also use it to train the guy to not be an incel, but to go out and teach him how to talk to real women. And then the AI can sort of be his friend. And when he can't get laid in the real world, he comes back and fucks the AI. But she knows that he's really trying to find someone in the real world, and she gives him advice, and he could practice his skills and his riz. What's
I'm
that?
glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's exactly what a couple of the dating apps have contacted me about, is training people how to talk to people
That's great.
because it's severely lacking. The dating apps are pushing that. By the way, the dating apps are usually the ones behind like a lot of this newer porn too.
Interesting. So how do you think, Jay, how do you think mainstream media is going to deal with like pornography and AI and all of that? Do you think they're ever going to catch on and like there'll be a Netflix of porn? Or...
I don't think so. I think porn is always going to be in its weird porn place. I think it may grow into a completely new world with AI, and I think, like AJ said before, porn's always sort of been the cutting edge. New tech is adopted by porn first, and that's never going to change. But look, I think mainstream does its own thing. I think AI is you're going to be able to interact with your people in mainstream media a lot more. And I think eventually AI is going to make it so that you can make a customized movie that stars you and whoever you want. And you can get home from work and give it a prompt, and 5 minutes later, you've got an adventure movie with you, Tom Cruise, and your favorite porn star. I think that will happen, and I've seen bits and pieces about it. Like there's a company called Showrunner, and they basically took all the South Parks ever made and fed them into their AI, and for a while they had a beta that you could prompt it, here's what my South Park wants to be about, and you could put yourself in it, and then it would spit out an actual South Park episode with the music and the animation, and the characters were spot on. I did a couple of them and I laughed out loud, and it was quite amazing. Now that's crappy animation, so it's a lot easier to make it real, but that blew my mind. And now they're developing a sort of, you can build your own animation, like an original animation. So this stuff's happening, and I think that whether it's porn or mainstream, you're going to be able to customize and use this stuff. Now, you're still going to want to see a Hollywood blockbuster once in a while. You're still going to want to just kick back and enjoy a great writer and great acting and great cinematography. I don't think that's going to go away, even though AI will be able to do all of that. But it'll be sort of like, sometimes you want a dumb show, sometimes you want an award-winning show, sometimes you want a drama, sometimes you want a comedy, sometimes you want an AI piece of content. Like, I think it'll just be another section, in the same way that people still go to the movies, maybe not as much as they used to before COVID, but movies didn't die, they just kind of morphed.
Right. Well, AI is meant to take away the middle income jobs. That's what it's for.
Yes.
It's, if you think on your feet and you are creative and you can come up with the next big thing, that's you write your own ticket, and that's how life has always been.
Agreed. And I actually think in mainstream, AI's better suited to take care of the executive class, like all the network execs who give notes on things and make them shittier. AI can do that better. All the marketing people who try to figure out how to market and what's this going to do in this market, or how much money should we spend with this actor, all of those number crunching things AI can do. All of those people, I think, are out of jobs soon. Possibly some of them were not necessarily needed. I say that as a creative in the business, but I never want to see anyone lose their job. But I think that's going to change a lot too.
Yeah, it can take big data and make it very finite, and that's why if you're a prompt engineer, that guy is replacing about 10 to 20 people, and that's why he gets paid $300,000 a year.
Right, and I think that job's going to go away as AI gets so good that you don't need to prompt it; it just does whatever you're thinking.
I think you're still going to need to guide it, and it requires a certain creative license with the AI.
True,
because I think it's going to be around a while. We're not at a point yet where it can just kind of auto do stuff, and that's what people think. It's like there's a big Skynet happening, and that's a very long ways away. Yes, we're making tremendous stuff, but basically, you have to understand there's a lot of really shitty writers out there right now. You know, that they're not doing any type of market testing. They're not doing anything of what people want to see, and then they wonder why their movies are failing. So basically, AI could come in there and say, okay, we can pull them. We can take all these polls of this is the type of movies that I like. I really like this movie. These are the best movies. Where take all the scripts and then come up with an outline, and then you have someone else write it, because the AI to write a whole movie that's just a little too much, because
I don't think we're there yet, but I do
no,
think
we're not going to be there for a very long while.
As a tool, look, I think AI will be able to make a mediocre piece of content, and it'll get better and better. But I think real genius humans still need to make those things that you're like, holy fuck, that thing that gave me goosebumps, whatever it is. And I agree. Right. I don't think we're there with AI for a little while.
Okay. Yeah, it gives mid range. It gives very mid range video at this point.
Okay, just to wrap this up, we're about a few minutes out. I want to ask everyone what your projective 10 years out. What do you think media and pornography is going to look like? Real fast. Give me like a 1 minute rundown. What do you think? Like, how bizarre? Let's start with you, AJ, and then we'll go around the table.
It's going to be custom porn. You type it in the script, and then you type in what you're into, and it will custom make it for you and state your own name.
What about you?
Well, I think it's all about money. Everything's about money. How can you do it the most economical for the maximum profit? That's what underlies everything. And the fact that people are jerking off in their mum's basement, well, where's the human contact? You're stimulating a certain number of senses with the OnlyFans and such content. You got 5 senses, but when you actually make love to a person or fuck someone in person, that's all 5 senses on overload. Whereas the online content, it's not real. It'll never be real.
Thank you. What about you, Jay?
Well, people have been jerking off in their mom's basement since the beginning of time, just to be clear. But
I know, I was there.
Look, I agree with AJ. I think it's going to be all of content is going to be customizable if you want it. And I also think there's going to be things where you don't want it. You want to be surprised. You want to see some weird movie that was made in Korea that you never would have thought of and that blows your mind. I think that's going to be great too. But then sometimes you're just going to want like the exact either movie, TV show, or porn that you just are in the mood for, and you're going to be able to get it.
And what I think, thank you, Jay. And what I think, it's going to be like we're just going to take over the world. We're going to round up all the men that are jacking off in their mother's basement. We're going to put them into a compound. We're going to slowly edge them and milk them. And then we're going to take porn. We're going to censor it completely. It's just not going to exist anymore. And then we're just going to force fuck all the men. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make porn just fucking dissolve. It's going to be a female-led world from now into the future. That's my opinion.
That took a turn at the end there.
And then, so anyways, Is there any last words? We got about 5 minutes. Anyone want to make a statement, thought, idea that didn't come across?
The next big thing is going to be robots plus AI.
Well, there's also
Inform.
there's a sex robot museum out of Spain where you can go fuck robots. You
Really?
know? Yeah.
Right. Like the Harmony bot was just a head on a like a rubber doll.
Right.
But I think eventually you're going to have autonomous
Well, you know,
uh,
the real
dolls.
yeah, well, the real underlying psychological issues that men point fingers at women as though women are the problem, but it's much deeper. It's this like I would say like this stoicism that is taught to men that prevent them from opening up about their emotions and their sexual needs to women. And like men are taught to detach from their emotional and sexual states at a very young age. And so, if we can actually get some good sex education in these public schools, we might actually stop the fucking race that is the race to the bottom with sexuality. That's my firm belief, you know. But I want to say thanks for everyone coming on the show. Jay, who came up from Los Angeles, our consumer, we're gonna stay anonymous there, came all the way from Perth, Australia,
Yeah, right.
and
There goes your
AJ out
cover.
in West Palm Beach. So thank you guys so much for coming on Sex Tonight. This is a show for the people, by the people, about sex, the real information that you want to know that no one's talking about. I'm Dr. Keely Dubois, and thank you for watching Sex.